3 weeks ago, I left a house I had paid for but never truly lived in. It felt strange, this empty, almost hollow space, where the quiet wasn't just the absence of noise, but a heavy, lingering presence. The flat I'm in now is small, a two-room place that's barely furnished, yet it feels expansive in its simplicity. The heater hums more than it warms, and the walls are thin enough that I can hear my neighbors, but it's the silence that stays with me. It's the kind of peace that arrives when years of tension, stress, and frustration finally snap, like a rubber band pulled too tightly until it breaks. The breakup wasn't loud. It didn't start with shouts or accusations. It began as just a tense moment, a shrug, and then in an instant, it ended with finality, like a thunderclap that leaves only silence behind. We were in her mother's living room, still living under the roof of a home that she, not we, considered to be her sanctuary. Even after our marriage, I was just a visitor there, an outsider in a family that never fully accepted me. "You don't even try anymore," she said, arms crossed, her tone like an interrogation, demanding a confession I didn't have. And I could only respond, "Try what? Try pretending we're not helping your family every month?" That was the moment. Her face reddened, her eyes wide, her nostrils flaring in indignation, and with a venomous calm, she told me to leave. Get out and never come back. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I didn't even pack. I just grabbed my car keys, my wallet, and walked out the door, not waiting for Doreen, the queen of cold disapproval, to say a word. I didn't care to hear if Maddie was serious. She wasn't. Doreen only gave me that look, the kind that made me feel like I was the unwanted debris in someone else's life. And now here I am, in this tiny room I've rented, with a second-hand couch and a fridge full of takeout boxes that remind me of how little I care about perfection. Despite the faint smell of dog in the air, I've never felt more at peace. It's the smallest place I've ever lived in, but it's mine. I don't have to answer to anyone. There's no family drama, no expectations, no silent pressure. Then my phone buzzes, jolting me from my thoughts. Maddie's name flashes on the screen. Before it there was Doreen. And Julian, her cousin, the one who only ever texts when he needs a favor. They all think I disappeared into thin air, like I just vanished, leaving no trace. Now that I'm gone, I've become the object of their attention once more. They want what I gave them, my time, my effort, my resources, but not me. And now that they no longer have access to that, I'm suddenly relevant again. But I don't pick up. I don't respond. Every call, every text, it all goes unanswered. "Hey, can we just talk?" they all say. Silence is my reply. For the first time in my life, I'm not the fixer. I'm not the one they rely on. I'm not the silent spouse who smiles while swallowing my frustrations. I'm just Reed now. Not Reed the provider, not Reed the doormat, not Reed the guy who was lucky enough to marry into a family that never truly accepted him. For the first time I feel free. Free from the constant demands, the guilt-tripping, the feeling that I existed only to serve others' needs. Now, I eat when I want, I stay up as late as I please, and I can sit on my couch watching meaningless movies without anyone judging me. I can skip the networking dinners without someone rolling their eyes. I never expected to feel this light. I thought I'd miss her, miss the person I loved. I thought I'd be consumed by guilt, wondering if I'd made a mistake. But I haven't missed her at all. What I've missed is me. The person I used to be, the one who had dreams, who didn't feel shackled by the weight of others' expectations. The man who wanted more than just to help fund someone else's life, someone else's vision of success. That man has finally found his way back to me. So I take my phone not to respond but to block yet another number. A name flashed across my phone screen, like a bright neon sign warning me of something I couldn't yet comprehend. What was coming next? I didn't know. But blocking her had felt like switching off an old, static-ridden radio. The silence that followed was unsettling yet peaceful. No more guilt trips, no more manipulation, no more pretending that I was the crazy one for needing boundaries. As the creaky radiator beside me began to hum its familiar, ancient tune, I leaned back, folding my arms behind my head. The stillness of this small, unadorned space seemed to wrap around me like a secret. It wasn't perfect. It didn't smell like fresh cleaning products or echo with forced laughter, but it was real. 3 weeks ago, I had been discarded, tossed aside like something worthless. And yet today, this place, which others might have dismissed, felt like heaven because it was the first time I was truly free. The people who claimed they needed me didn't miss me. No, they missed the convenience of my compliance. I wasn't quick to answer the phone anymore. As I stood halfway through heating up some leftover lo mein, the phone buzzed faintly from the kitchen. It was a soft ping, hardly worth acknowledging, but I wasn't in a rush. Not for anyone anymore. When I finally picked it up, the name on the screen made me sigh. Doreen. Persistent as ever, she had sent me yet another message. I thought to myself, I'll give her 10 texts because that's how far her determination seemed to stretch. Still, it was just another reminder of the favors I'd done, a series of unreturned acts that somehow had become the foundation of whatever we had. I opened the message while continuing to appear busy, like I was doing something else, something more important than paying attention to the ping of yet another request. The text read, "Hello Reed, the mortgage hasn't been paid this month according to the bank. Could you kindly take care of it before they..." That was it? No, hello, no, how are you? No, we miss you, or please come home. Just a request, straightforward, without emotion. No effort to make it feel like she was speaking to someone who once mattered in her life. It was as if I were nothing more than a service provider she was inconvenienced to deal with. I reread the message a few times, letting the words sink in. And that's when something inside me shifted. It wasn't a sharp snap like breaking a stick. It was more like the slow hiss of a pressure valve being released after years of being tightly sealed. This wasn't just entitlement, it was a masterclass in it. She didn't ask about how I was doing, didn't even express any concern for our daughter, Maddie. No, it was just another demand. Another expectation that I would fix things, as if I were nothing more than a cog in a machine they had grown accustomed to. In my mind's eye, I could picture her, sitting at that sleek marble kitchen island, her espresso carefully arranged in front of her. With one hand she held the cup and with the other she sent me this text, certain I would comply because I always had. But not this time. There was no hesitation, no second guessing. I didn't need to mull it over, the decision was already made. For years I had been the one who folded, the one who did whatever was asked, even if it meant sacrificing my peace, my boundaries, and my dignity. But not today. Without thinking, I typed out a reply, one that, for the first time, felt like a choice rather than a reaction. You told me to never return. I'm just doing what I was told. It felt almost too polite, as though my words were still a reflex, even after everything. I locked my phone, powered it off completely, and sat back on the couch. Grabbing my fork, I returned to the cold noodles sitting in front of me, the comfort of the mundane grounding me. There was no dramatic wave of emotion, no rush of guilt or fear. Just a quiet peace. The next morning I woke up to a full voicemail inbox. I didn't need to listen to them. I knew who they were from. Doreen, Camden, probably Maddie too. The messages stacked up, one after the other. The first one was from Doreen and I knew it would be the same as all the others. I scrolled through the list, then pressed play on the first message, letting it fill the empty space. As the soft breeze from the open window fluttered through my apartment, I listened. Her voice was shaky, but not from genuine emotion. No, it was performative, an act. "This isn't funny," she said. "You're being irritable. This affects all of us." I didn't need to hear more. It was the same old game, the same old manipulation. Blame masked as concern. Requests wrapped in thinly veiled threats. The only thing that had changed was that I had finally stopped playing along. I deleted the message before it finished. I didn't need to hear it again. I had heard it too many times already. In the end, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel frustrated. I felt lighter, freer. A sense of clarity washed over me, and for the first time in a long while, I felt as though I could breathe without waiting for the next emotional blow to land.